I have sworn multiple times that I would stop talking about EDP 445, but just like most people's New Year's resolutions about going to the gym, I'm going to have to break it. Every few months for the last couple of years, like clockwork, he will try and come back to the internet after his historic fall from grace after being caught in the now infamous cupcake sting operation that outed him as a predator. He'll come back with an almost cartoonish development. He has been on this non-stop wild and wacky roller coaster of crazy goofy shit that he tries. He's this gift that just keeps on giving with the amount of unbelievable shit he tries, like an everlasting gobstopper of goofs. I've compared him to the box ghost from Danny Phantom, and I think that is just the most apt comparison. He's just this silly villain that keeps popping up every now and then just for people to laugh him off the face of the internet, but he'll always come back as a cameo in later episodes. And that's why we're talking about him again today, because it's that time of the year where EDP tries to make a claim that he's innocent. And this time, he's saying, actually, it was all acting. He was only pretending to be a pedophile. He was method acting as a child molester, as part of a movie production. I know that sounds unbelievable. That sounds like I just made that shit up in a game of Mad Libs, but I'm being serious. That is the angle he's trying. He posted an entire breakdown of his defense that this was all a setup, that it was supposed to just be improv acting, but they published it as a real thing and it cost him his whole career. Now, before diving into the fanfic that EDP tries to craft here like he's working on a fucking Tumblr blog, I do want to make it clear that even though the Cupcake Doomsday sting operation was the apocalypse that brought down the world of EDP, it's far from the only instance of him talking inappropriately and sexually with minors. This was just the only one where they actually caught him in video. You know, this was no longer just blurry photos of Sasquatch or rumors. They finally had him on video flirting with, and then even going to a physical location to meet someone he believed to be a child. This followed sexually charged conversations as well as inappropriate pictures, including a picture of his poopy in a toilet, an actual shit pic. I make sure to mention that anytime EDP's name comes up because god damn it, that shit is crazy. And following all that, he went to the physical location to meet someone he believed to be a kid, and said the reason he was there was actually because his belly was empty, his tummy was growling for a cupcake, which is why it became known as the Cupcake Incident. But this is just focusing on that video and not any of the other numerous claims and evidence about the way he talked to children and all of that. So let's take it from the top here in the timeline of events. He lays out all the lore, and it dates all the way back to 2019. So he's laying out the goddamn Silmarillion here, preceding the Lord of the Rings events that take place later on. So in 2019, he flew out to Philadelphia for the world premiere of Maybe Next Year, which he was featured in. I suppose this was his acting debut, and that's crucial knowledge here because fast forward to 2021, he received an email from Chet Goldstein, who was the person conducting the investigation on EDP at the time, and he's claiming that in 2021, Chet Goldstein reached out to him, letting him know how impressed he was with EDP's performance in that documentary, saying that he was impressed with his work from Maybe Next Year and wanted to give him a shot for a different part in a film that Chet Goldstein was working on at the time. So he drops a receipt here of an email that basically just echoes that, saying, hey, you know, your work was fucking amazing. Can't believe you didn't win an Oscar. Would love to have you as part of this next production if you're willing to try out for it. Get back to me. EDP responds, ecstatic to take this role. This was really going to blow up his acting career. He confirms an address with him, that it's a Rite Aid location they're meeting at. Chet Goldstein says that, their cameraman will meet them at the Rite Aid parking lot, and it's going to be a random scene that they're going to act out for 30 to 40 minutes to see if he's fit for filming. He says, the scene we may ask you to act out may seem a bit odd, and I may crack some jokes and be rude in certain parts of the shoot that may seem offensive to you, but keep in mind, we have a protocol of situations we may throw at you to see how you respond and act in helping us determine if you're fit for the part. If selected for the part for the film we're shooting in Bakersville in October, we'll reach out in 7 to 14 business days from our meeting. Please message me back to confirm this date. So this is his bombshell, shocking revelation plot twist moment where you see Chet Goldstein actually was just wanting me to act, improv to make sure I was, up to snuff here with the role that I'd be required to play for his production. I was under the impression this was all part of the acting, which even upon hearing this excuse is one of the most unbelievable things I've ever heard. No, you remember that incident from 2 years ago. Keep in mind, he's just now posting this 2 years later. I'm guessing this idea came to him in a dream recently to try this garbage. But, like, you know, why wait 2 years if this is all legitimate? But regardless, you know, all of that pedophile shit, no, that's just because I was a very good actor. I actually fooled all of you. It was acting, but I'm really upset because, you know, I was misled. I was instructed to improv. I had no idea this was going to be the result. But I know what you're thinking, Charles. He posted receipts. He posted emails right there. There's proof. There's evidence to support these outrageous claims. Sometimes reality can be stranger than fiction. And to that I say, I do not like those green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. These are fucking poorly photoshopped emails that he posts. He couldn't even Photoshop or crop it correctly. Look at Chet Goldstein's name. You can still see some of, like, the black flakes at the top where Chet Goldstein was pasted on top of whatever this email originally was, and none of it's even centered in the first place. It doesn't even convincingly look like real emails. It is awful. It is terribly done. And to go even a step further, I can literally hear EDP's voice in the Chet Goldstein text here. He caps locked respond and act, as if that's supposed to drive the point home, like, no, look, it's real. This is super real because respond and act. Act. That's a key word. I'm going to have to capitalize that one so that way people know that this is key. It's blatantly fake. These aren't real emails. But you know what? I'm always willing to play ball and suspend disbelief. Let's assume that this is real somehow. And the odds of this being even remotely real are beyond minuscule, incalculably low odds, but let's assume they are. It still doesn't explain away all of his other repeated behavior with the way he talks to minors or anything like that. And it doesn't even explain away the video itself. There's nothing in there that even, like, gets corroborated with these emails he releases. Nothing checks out, even still, with the video itself and the claims he's making. He did an interview with, like, an AI, I guess. I don't really know, but he's doing this interview with, like, some kind of AI interviewer using some kind of, like, fucking voice modulator. And the way he explains it is even more silly.
He had his business card attached to the email.
Okay, and that was shortly after the movie, maybe next year or so. You put kind of 2 and 2 together and everything aligned to this actually being an opportunity for you.
Correct, yes.
Okay, so Chet emails you and tells you to meet him at the apartment complex? I'm sorry, maybe I'm not understanding.
Well, again, you know, the original meetup spot was at the Rite Aid.
In what fucking solar system would someone be so stupid as to get a random email from someone claiming to be a movie producer who just reached out to you with a cold call saying, hey, your fucking performance in this documentary was superb, spectacular stuff. Come meet me at a Rite Aid where I'm going to have you play a child predator. Would you think that that's a good opportunity? So let's assume he didn't know he was going to be acting as a pedophile. The second that they start spitballing this improv at him, like, okay, so all of these chat logs with this child, you're a pedophile. Why would he play along with it? What opportunity did you think this was? How would portraying a child molester be like this golden goose for you? You are already a successful YouTuber with millions of subscribers, but this was your ticket to the big time? You know, this role you thought you were playing, like the role of method acting a fucking pedophile? That makes no sense. That is inexplicably ridiculous.
You know what I mean? And then the camera guy, Javier, he actually walked me over to the apartment complex. So in the fucking email, it was just, you know, boom, right here at the Rite Aid. And then camera guy is the one who walked me over to the apartment complex. This is the first time I ever seen this fucking apartment complex. You know what I mean?
This does absolutely nothing to help proclaim his innocence here. If it was at the Rite Aid or the apartment complex, it doesn't fucking change anything. The clips he's showing, the Rite Aid only comes in the frame when EDP is leaving after they're talking about calling the cops and everything. That is when he is actually, like, making his grand getaway from this situation. He starts by going up to the apartment complex and then leaves going out by the Rite Aid.
Do you have any indication on what you're walking into, what type of scene you're going to be acting out?
He didn't tell me shit, basically. You know what I mean? He basically just said, you know, hey, we got some chat logs here. We're going to improv this bitch. Go along with it. I'm just like, all right, cool. So, and then again, you know what I mean? It's like, how the fuck was I supposed to know this was a goddamn, you know, how the fuck was I supposed to know that this was a goddamn setup? Like, it's like, you know, you have fucking business cards, you have the official wavelength bullshit, you know what I mean? Motherfuckers is emailing you and shit. It's like, anybody in their right fucking mind would have thought that this was legit.
I speak for every single living, breathing human being on this planet in saying that nobody in their right mind would have thought this is legit. At all. I will suspend disbelief yet again here to just toy around with this idea. Why the fuck would you even improv this kind of scene? Did you want the role of a pedophile? Did you want that to be your acting legacy? The follow-up to your magnum opus performance in maybe next year you wanted to be the child predator? What sense does that fucking make? This is the dumbest defense ever. And he doesn't even do anything to, like, somehow explain away everything he says and does in the video itself. None of this explains any of it. And this fucking email screenshots are fake emails to begin with. The whole thing is so stupid. But it is laughable that he is actually trying this with a straight face. Obviously, this is yet again another desperate attempt to prove that he's never been a child predator, even though there is overwhelming amounts of evidence, even outside of this big video that came from it. There is still so much evidence against him, and really the only reason he never faced jail time is because the investigation was done by YouTubers and not done in collaboration with law enforcement, so he was able to squeak away based on that, which is something that has happened a lot, unfortunately. So it's crazy he's not even in jail, honestly. And he still keeps trying to come back to the internet. Even after all of this time and all of this shit, he still keeps doing ridiculously goofy shit like what you just saw there, with trying to say he's not a pedophile, he was only acting. Wild stuff. I just wanted to give a little update here and share that. That's about it. See ya.